Hello, and welcome back to Wrap Cinema. Today we will be explaining an action sci-fi movie, starring Tom Cruise. This movie is sure to keep you on the edge of your seat, so we really recommend it. Gear up with us and let's take down these aliens. Enjoy, spoilers ahead. The movie begins with a compilation of news footage showing terrorist attacks and destruction from an unknown enemy. Modern footage of the victory against a supposed alien race can be seen afterwards. A new technology is invented and shown on the TV, a robotic exoskeleton to enhance human capabilities, promising to make super soldiers to fight against the aliens. We are shown our protagonist, William Cage, advertising this technology aiming to further increase the military's arsenal, to fight against the invasion. He is brought on to be interviewed by news reporters where they discuss a famous soldier who was able to defeat hundreds of aliens known as mimics using this new technology. Cage talks about the importance of the technology to help win the war and says the human race will be victorious. We now formally meet our main protagonist, William Cage, who is being flown into London to have a meeting with the Royal Army General. The general discusses the plan for the attack tomorrow in France and explains to Cage's worry about the number of casualties and how the public will look at him to blame. Unknowingly, Cage suspects the general wants his help on diverting the attention by using propaganda or media methods. However, to his surprise, the general wants him to join the forces on the front lines to showcase the war with a camera crew, to avoid the controversy from all the casualties that will take place. Cage declines the offer, majorly because of how much of a pussy he is, but the general states that he must go as he is under his command, and he has no choice. William blackmails the general, saying that he will blame the general for all the dead soldiers publicly, if the general doesn't retract the order. The general then orders for William to be arrested, however he attempts to run away and gets tasered in the face. We cut to William unconscious on a pile of bags in an army base. He is awoken in handcuffs to a sergeant urging him to get up. He is confused and angry with how he is being treated until they are both cut off by Sergeant Farrell. Cage wants to phone his commanding officer so that he can be sent back to Washington. Sergeant Farrell complies and agrees to take him to a phone, but when they both reach a tent, Cage realizes that there is no chance of him going home when the sergeant reveals a letter stating that Cage is a deserter and attempted to flee from his duties on the battlefield. Cage is ushered by Sergeant Farrell into the tent while he continues to intellectually call him a big pussy for trying to come up with excuses for not fighting in the war. We are then introduced to J Squad, consisting of Griff, Skinner, Kimmel, Nance, and Ford, and some other guy who isn't even worth mentioning. Sergeant Farrell finds a poker game underneath one of the soldiers' beds and makes them eat the cards to illustrate some sort of point in front of Cage, but the only thing he illustrates is how the entire squad are crayon munchers. Farrell puts responsibility of Cage on J Squad, and they then surround him. It is now the day of the invasion, and the soldiers are gearing up into their exoskeleton suits. Kimmel, one of the members of J Squad, suits up naked, which is guaranteed to seduce you while watching the movie. Meanwhile, Griff helps Cage to get his exoskeleton on, who then starts to sweat and freak out when he tells Griff that he is scared he might hurt someone with the suit since he hasn't been trained to use it. Griff assures Cage not to worry, as it is impossible to hurt anyone with the safety. Cage then gives a look as if he has shit his pants, as he now can't even defend himself. We cut to a mysterious figure doing meditation in an open space, who then suits up and is given a badass motivational hero scene. However, it is later revealed she is in fact a woman, removing all of what was cool about her suiting up scene. The figure is known as the Full Metal Bitch, which Cage saw postered on a moving vehicle earlier on. The entire base camp is getting ready to attack the beaches of France. Cage, being the big pussy that he is, tries to run away in his suit without anyone noticing, but J Squad pull him back. On board, Sergeant Farrell is giving the soldiers a pep talk about being brave, while Cage is cowering in the corner. The squad tease him about being a dead man walking, pushing the fear deeper inside him. The floor opens beneath the soldiers as they get ready to drop. However, while Farrell is talking, a hole is blown open into the side of the aircraft, killing some of the squad. Cage drops from the aircraft, falling from the air and screaming in fear. He lands in the water, planting face first into the ground. Kimmel celebrates landing safely on the ground, but then is ironically crushed by an aircraft. LOL. Cage stumbles around for a few minutes, like a 5-year-old child who lost their mother in Walmart, observing the chaos around him, while also trying to turn the safety off. Instead, he turns the language setting to Japanese. After falling over, Cage notices the badass woman from earlier, cleaning up mimics like an absolute beast, emasculating him as he lies on the ground like a sub. She then stands before him like a heroic figure in an intense battle scene. However, she is then launched forward at a high speed as she was annihilated by a projectile. Cage finds himself surrounded in a ditch with J Squad as they prepare to attack the oncoming fleet. Cage is still continuing to try to arm his suit when an alien comes out of the ground, causing him to scream like a pussy, and kills everyone. Cage manages to get his suit working and kills the alien. He celebrates until another few aliens turn up right in front of him. Never speak too soon. One of the aliens in front of him is different in color compared to the rest. It spots him and goes to attack, and Cage grabs an explosive killing the alien, but the alien's blood is like acid and falls on his face, killing him. He wakes up in the army base in the same position he was in before. He is addressed by Sergeant Farrell again and experiences bad deja vu. As the sergeant continues to speak, Cage realizes that he is in a loop, as the same things are happening as they did before, proving to him that it wasn't a dream. He lives through the same things again, but this time tries to help the woman, but he is hit instead and she leaves him to die. Cage retries the day, this time trying to convince the others around him what is happening by telling them things he shouldn't even know, like their names and what is exactly going to happen before it does. However, it is no use, and they tape his mouth shut on the way into battle. He keeps repeating the day trying to fix all the mistakes to avoid dying. He manages to eventually save the woman and asks for her help. She is aware of what is happening to him and urges him to reset the day so he can go and talk to her at the base camp. He complies with orders the next day so he can distract everyone for long enough so he can escape and go to find the woman. We are now formally introduced to Rita Verdasky, who he explains to what happened and how no matter what he does, he keeps waking up in the same position after dying. Rita accounts that he died from a blue alien, as the same thing happened to her and she also kept repeating the same day, but she has now lost it. Rita asks for help to win the war and brings Cage to a scientist. The scientist explains that the phenomenon occurs because the blue aliens are a part of the whole alien network nervous system. The aliens have the ability to control time, and when you kill a blue one, the power gets transferred to whoever killed it. The scientist tells Cage that the main source of the aliens' power is the Omega, and that he needs to keep dying until he sees a vision of where the Omega is, so that they can destroy it. Rita begins to train him to fight against the aliens, but he gets uppercut and breaks his back. Rita warns him that in order to reset the day he needs to make sure he dies fast, because if he bleeds out he will lose the ability to reset the day like she did. She then shoots him in the face. Rita continues to train him every day, killing him each time he gets injured so that they can reset the day. Cage sees a vision of a dam, and sees the location of the Omega in some part of Germany. He wakes up and tells the scientist what he saw, and works on a plan to get off the beach the next morning, so that they can go to Germany and destroy the Omega. He repeats the day over and over again, but one of them always ends up dead. Cage gives up and flees to go to a bar as he is fed up. He is in a bar talking about the war with the locals when the lights suddenly go out. It is clear to him that he can't give up on winning the war when the aliens come swimming out of the water and kill him, waking him up again. He continues to train hard to defeat the aliens and shows great improvement. The scientist finds the location of the Omega, and Cage and Rita set out to find and destroy it. After many attempts they get off the beach and find a caravan holiday site with many vehicles. Some of which they have already tried in previous attempts, but failed to work. They both run for the vehicles, trying to get them started. Rita manages to find the keys and get the car started, however it alerts aliens in the distance. They are suspicious as to why they aren't getting chased while they drive away. Out of nowhere, an alien bursts out of the attached caravan and begins to attack them. Cage, now being the ultimate Spartan warrior, turns around and obliterates the alien with his rocket, turning it to dust. On their way to Germany, the two soldiers make small talk until Cage mentions a name that annoys Rita. They come across a farmhouse and try to find another vehicle to get them to Germany. Luckily, they stumble upon a helicopter. However, Cage is hesitant to leave so soon and suggests for Rita to rest while he looks for the keys. While in the barn, Cage keeps adamantly suggesting to stay the night and relax, but Rita is keen to keep going and suggests shooting him. She believes he is stalling and that's the reason why he is being hesitant. He reveals that no matter what way they continue, she will die, and that there is no change he can make that will keep her living. Dazed, Rita orders for them to continue, no matter what the outcome is, and that he has no control of who dies in war. She starts the helicopter and attempts to fly away, but just like Cage had foreseen, a buried alien wakes up and attacks the helicopter, making it crash into the barn. Cage grabs an axe, killing the injured alien, and finds Rita on her last breath, shortly before they are both killed by a stampede of aliens. He wakes up, but this time instead of going to Rita for help, he gears up and gets to the helicopter alone. He kills the field of hiding aliens and sets off in the helicopter to find the Omega. He finds the dam and flies towards it. He enters the building, and it is nothing but darkness. He sees the same area that he saw in his vision, but when he looks over the edge there is nothing there. Cage is suddenly attacked by an alien from below, causing him to drop his gun. While he is getting ready to go bare knuckle against the alien, a blue alien appears from behind him. The blue alien moves towards him, aiming to take his power away. Cage tries to shoot himself in the head, but it is knocked out of his hands by an energy wave from the alien. He crawls away to hide, and the aliens burst a water pipe, causing him to drown. The day resets and Cage tells the scientists that the Omega wasn't at the dam. They realize the visions are just traps to try and take the reset power away. They look to their only alternative and discuss using a device to link into the alien network. To get the device, they must go to the Whitehall facility where they keep a prototype. They sneak into the building, presumably from rehearsed practice runs after getting arrested and committing suicide each time. They make their way to the general's office where the prototype is kept. They manage to convince the general to give it to them after predicting the events of the current scenario. When they leave, they are ambushed by soldiers, showing that the general is a stubborn idiot. They repeat the day, getting the prototype the same way they did before, and escape in a car. Rita stabs the thick girthy prototype into Cage's leg, sending him into a hallucinogenic state. He sees the real location of the Omega in Paris under the Louvre. While driving, Cage gets shot in the leg and starts to bleed profusely. They are stopped in their tracks by a super soldier, making them both unconscious. Cage wakes to the sound of a heart monitor, strapped to a bed, with a blood bag hanging right above him. In that moment he realizes he is screwed and can't respawn after dying anymore. He also just lost his last chance of having a dirty tango with Rita. He rummages around until he flips the bed over and is left hanging upside down like a moron. Rita comes to his rescue and tried to reset the day by killing Cage, but he shouts out that he lost the power before she gets the chance to stab him. They go back to the military base to unite J Squad for their help. He convinces them all by revealing their secrets and things it would be impossible for him to know. They all gear up and steal an aircraft to go to Paris. Griff warns everyone to not kill any of the blue aliens, as if they do it will reset the day. While coming into Paris they are attacked by the aliens and forced to disembark from the aircraft early. The gunman and pilot are killed, leaving Cage alone while the aircraft is going down. It crashes into the water and Cage swims to the surface after taking off his suit. The area is desolate and quiet, and the squad are low on ammunition and resources. The group are too far away from the destination and need to take a damaged aircraft to get there. They manage to get it working, but Griff's suit runs out of battery and chooses to stay behind with Skinner, so he can give more time for the rest of the squad to get there. They start the engines, but there is a stampede of aliens heading towards them. Skinner and Griff hold them off until they run out of ammo. They blow themselves up like honorable soldiers under the Japanese emperor. They drive towards the Louvre while Ford shoots the aliens following them. He is grabbed and pulled off the aircraft, killing him. Cage takes over, defending the aircraft while Rita pilots it. The aircraft crashes into the Louvre, sending Cage flying through the air like a majestic butterfly, crashing into the ground. Rita and Cage push forward deep into the Louvre, while aliens follow behind, attempting to thwart their plans. They both fall down a shaft, breaking their bodies a little more, because why not, and spot to the side the location of the Omega. A blue alien appears in front of the path blocking them, with no ammo or weapons to get past it. It also makes it a struggle that they can't kill it, or it will reset the day. Rita runs to distract the blue alien while Cage makes his way towards the Omega. The alien finds Rita and kills her. Cage knows it is his last chance to save humanity and must sacrifice everything to keep going and to save the world. In his last attempt to win the war, Cage dives into the water, holding on to his very last breath, and swims towards the Omega below him. As he swims towards the Omega, the blue alien chases seconds behind him, thrashing all the rubble in its path. Just before the Omega impales Cage, he manages to pull the pins on all of the grenades, and in his last moments of life, the grenades sink to the bottom and blow up, destroying the Omega, killing all the aliens, and winning the war. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and remember to turn on notifications to get the best rap cinema updates.